Everything on the submarine is designed to maintain the well-being and
Sometimes soaking is the solution. If you use bleach...
Is it? So how come I hear voices?
That's just my...
That was very good, Eunice. God's word is the truth.
That's it.
So,
It's wrong. Yeah, she
you
did.
can't do what you did yesterday.
I swear she did.
That
She signed something.
That also gonna be contempt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Fair. Keep quiet.
All rise for the Honorable Judge Sinek.
Court's in session. Case is the people of the state of Texas versus Miss Eileen Ray Cartwright. The case number is 18 OV-06. Are the people gonna call their next witness?
Yes, Your Honor. We're calling Miss Eileen Cartwright.
What are you doing?
I'm going up to the stand. She called me to the stand.
I know, but you're... Objection!
What are you objecting to?
I'm objecting to the use of my client as a witness against herself.
Your Honor, Miss Cartwright agreed to a direct examination from the prosecution.
Is this true?
Yes, Your Honor. May I come forward to the bench?
Yeah. All right. Everything seems to be in order. Please come forward to the witness stand.
Why did you agree to that?
Please, Mr. Sherman.
I mean, can we get like a sidebar or something?
What on earth
Anything?
would you need a sidebar for?
I don't... Can I just talk to her for a second?
Mr. Sherman.
May I just talk to her for a second? Nothing official, no recess, no... Just talking. Please. Why would you agree to that?
I know what I'm doing.
No, you don't.
I gotta clear my name.
Clear your... Okay, this is not how you clear your name. This is how you extend your sentence.
Well, I made a promise to Miss Warren
Get out of
over
the
there.
thing. What promises is that you can break the...
Objection! The defense is attempting to obstruct the lawful examination of a witness.
Sustained. Mr. Sherman, please let Ms. Cartwright come forward to the witness stand.
You're making the worst mistake of your life.
Mr. Sherman. Counsel, if you would please double check the courtroom and keep cautious watch to make sure there are no witnesses that are not allowed to hear the testimony of others. Thank you. Ms. Cartwright, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm any testimony you make will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You may be seated. Would you answer first, please, the questions of Ms. Warren, and then any questions that Mr. Sherman may have?
Yes, Your Honor.
State your name and occupation for the court, please.
Eileen Cartwright. I worked at Domino's.
As a
What?
what? What was your position at Domino's?
A delivery driver. They just started making me sweep up all the stuff at the floor of the county jail, so that's...
And where were you on the
something.
night of the 25th of May, last year, 2001?
I don't know.
May 25th is the night Vinnie McMillan was murdered. Now, do you know where you were?
I was at Vinnie McMillan's house.
Objection! Mrs. Warren is purposely structuring her questions in a way that puts Miss Cartwright in a bad light.
Overruled. The evidence of the case puts Miss Cartwright in a bad light, Mr. Sherman.
What?
Mrs. Warren, continue.
And what was your...
I know that it's a bad look or light or whatever that I was at Vinnie's house when he got killed, but I didn't kill him.
Okay.
Because I know that's what this whole thing is about, right? Did I kill Vinnie or not? And I can say, and you know this is going to be true because I'm under oath, I didn't, right? Isn't that all you need? Because I can't lie right now because the whole truth mantra thing I did with the judge just now, right? I can't be lying.
Well, you shouldn't be lying.
Are you calling me a liar?
I'm not calling you anything. I'm simply correcting you.
Well, it seems to me like you're calling me wrong. That's gotta
May I
be...
continue with my questions, Miss Cartwright?
Yes, you can continue with your questions, Miss Warren.
What was your relation to Vinnie McMillan?
I delivered a pizza to his house.
When?
Well, there were multiple occasions. The last time was the 25th. The 25th was a Friday, and he ordered one pretty much every weekend. So
How many times in total would you say you delivered a pizza to Mr. McMillan's house?
at least 100 times. That sounds right.
100. Out of all those 100, describe a typical delivery to Mr. McMillan's house.
I would get in the car and drive there, and his house was pretty close, like a 5-minute drive past the Exxon and Lake Ray Hubbard, and
What happened at Mr. McMillan's door?
why can't I just get there naturally?
Testimony about the drive to Mr. McMillan's house is irrelevant to the case.
What if I think it's relevant?
What if you... Okay. What happened on the drive to Mr. McMillan's house?
Nothing.
Can we get to Mr. McMillan's door now?
Yes.
Are you...
Well, okay, so he has this really ugly house with a really ugly door on it, and when you ring the doorbell, it doesn't just ring like a normal doorbell, it plays like some stupid fake doorbell song, and then Vinny opens the door, and he's ugly, just like his house, and his door, and his stupid fake doorbell song, and he says, "Have you got me pizza, love?" He's British. And then I say, "Yes," and then I give it to him, and then he says, "Thank you, darling." And then he pays and closes the door on me without tipping. He had this thing where he would smell his fingers all the time, like a tick or something. And he'd always do it right after I gave him his change back. And I mean, the whole change thing, too. He always paid with cash. That was a pain. If you're not going to tip, at least use card. I always wanted to say that to him. There's a lot of things I wanted to say to him, but, gotta be professional or whatever. It's Domino's.
I'm getting the feeling that you didn't like Mr. McMillan.
I never said that.
Do you like Mr. McMillan?
I don't hate him.
Then why did you call him, his house, his door, and his doorbell ugly, and implied that given the opportunity, you would tell him...
Objection! Implied? Mrs. Warren is using Miss Cartwright's words disparagingly to paint an intention she never had.
Overruled. Mr. Sherman, how are you in a position to determine your client's intention if Mrs. Warren isn't? Mrs. Warren, continue.
Miss Cartwright, why did you say those things if you don't hate Mr. McMillan?
Well, I didn't mean anything by it. I was just talking.
That's all we're doing, is talking.
Yeah. It doesn't mean anything. What are you writing?
A note.
Can you tell me what it says?
No. Was there anything different about the delivery on the night of the 25th from the other deliveries?
Yes.
What was different?
He called me sweetie.
Instead of the usual darlings and loves, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Was that the only difference?
There, yes.
What do you mean by that?
That was the only difference at Vinny's house.
What about outside of Mr. McMillan's house?
Okay, well, you have to understand that it was bad. It was weird. It was I'm not accusing you of anything, Miss Cartwright. I just want to know what was different. Nothing.
Nothing? Okay. Records show you were out for delivery to Mr. McMillan's house for a full hour before returning to Domino's.
Yeah,
What?
his house is half an hour away.
So you were lying before, about his house only being 5 minutes away?
No.
You've presented me with two conflicting pieces of testimony under oath. Either way, you've committed perjury.
Objection! Mrs. Warren is accusing my client of offenses she...
Overruled.
They are
Overruled, Mr.
relevant.
Sherman. That's not anything. What you've just objected to, perjury is perjury. That's important. I'm sorry, I get it. I'm sorry. Please stop objecting so much. You know it's going to get overruled. Mrs. Warren, continue.
So it's a 5-minute or 30-minute drive to Mr. McMillan's house. Don't answer. I know it's 5. I have a map.
Objection! The prosecution
Mr. Sherman,
is taunting the
stop
witness.
objecting. That one was... Okay, sustained. Mrs. Warren, stop taunting the witness. Continue.
What happened in the hour of time you were delivering a pizza to Vinnie McMillan's house?
I delivered the pizza, and that took about 20 minutes, and for the rest of the time, I picked up groceries.
During your shift?
Yes.
Just making sure, because You told police that you spent the remaining 40 minutes killing Mr. McMillan and hiding
Okay,
his
that's...
body.
Mrs. Warren is presenting evidence at a time that's...
Your Honor, I'm not presenting anything. I'm simply asking Miss Cartwright about the evidence. This quote is already known by the jury.
Overruled. Mrs. Warren, continue.
Hey, why did you have to bring that up? It was the police. Okay, you know how they mess with you and stuff with their tricks and stuff?
Then why did you tell them, quote, I stabbed
It's
him.
the police. It doesn't mean anything.
If nothing you say means anything, why should I be listening to you right now?
Because I'm telling the truth.
We have evidence that says you're not.
That doesn't mean anything.
Your Honor, may I continue reading Miss Cartwright's statement to police without interruption?
Miss Cartwright, let Miss Warren finish her quote.
You told them, quote, I stabbed him with the first thing I could find, which was my pencil, but I knew it couldn't break
I get it.
his skin,
I
so
get it. I remember
Miss
what I...
Cartwright.
That's quite all right, Your Honor. I've read enough. Why did you say that?
I told you it's the police, and they pressurize you, and they...
So you lied to the police?
I wasn't under oath.
So you lied to the police?
Yes.
Then how were you able to correctly identify the location of Mr. McMillan's body?
It was a good guess. What are you writing down?
I'm not going to tell you. Earlier, when you said, there's a lot of things I wanted to say to Mr. McMillan, what did you want to say?
Well, I wanted to tell Mr. McMillan that I wish that when he died, he only had enough money to be buried in a shallow grave. So whenever it rained a lot, his corpse would get all bloated, like the bloated corpse from Jaws with its eyes sticking out, floating around in the water. And then I wish that he had to be dug up again because they forgot to bury him with his wedding ring or whatever. And then they were in there in the funeral home with this open casket out on the table. Mrs. McMillan bawling her eyes out because her dead husband's corpse is bloated and disgusting. The funeral home director is standing in the corner looking at his phone. And then he'd read something funny, and he'd let out a little chuckle, and then Mrs. McMillan would turn around and stare at the funeral home director in a way full of pain and sorrow or whatever, but really painful and sorrowful, like something the funeral home director had never seen. And he's a funeral home director, so just imagine how truly painful and sorrowful it would have to be to force him to get a little bit of perspective on his life, right? And he'd think, oh my God, I spent the past 30 years of my life scamming grieving families out of their money for a wooden box to bury their disgusting, bloated corpses in. And then he'd go home for dinner, unable to look his wife in the face, unable to thank her for the dinner she cooked, unable to truly love her anymore until, 2 years later, after they've had a child to try and cover up the gaping hole between them, when the funeral home director finally kills himself out of shame and self-loathing. And this kid, only a baby now, grows up with the same shame and self-loathing that plagued his father the last 2 years of his life, except this time it plagues the kid's whole life. Every glint of laughter or joy in his eye, a facade. Every day an endless, silent, torturous struggle until it's far too late with a car accident or a heart condition or whatever else, and he blames his waste of a life all on Vinny for not paying for the full 6 feet of dirt. And I also wanted to say it would be kind of ironic that his corpse would drown while his soul was burning in hell. But just to see how he'd react, I guess I didn't actually think all those things in my head for real.
I don't think I have any more questions right now.
Mr. Sherman, cross-examination?
No. Thank you, Judge.
You gotta sing opera. You go, oh, dun, dun, dun. Yes. Well, you can. Would you like me to make up an opera? I can make up an opera.
You can?
I am upset that my teacher died.
It's not even a teacher. He was independent of a teacher.
He was my teacher.
But he was a great influence.
He was a great influence. Why did he die?
Oh, okay,